whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Consumer.
Okay, consumer, who are you and how did you impact the industrial revolution?
Well, I'm a middle class manager at a factory. I got it. I became a manager through hard work, by getting an education and moving up the chain hierarchy until I became a manager. Me and my family, we live in a small apartment near the factory, and we live maybe not rich lives, but we aren't scrapping for any money.
How were products changed by the Industrial Revolution?
Well, products, because of the new inventions like or the innovation of making the steam engine better, or the assembly line, it made products be made quicker and more cheaply, which allowed people to buy these products, which allowed for a larger and larger middle class. While before the Industrial Revolution, you had only the nobles who could afford rich products, while the peasantry and the such like couldn't afford much.
How has education changed during and by the Industrial Revolution?
Well, before, education was only for the aristocrats, where only the people who could afford it. But because of the Industrial Revolution, people saw that how children were working all this time, and they thought to change it so they could have better lives. So they started focusing more on education, making education mandatory, and the such like, so they could have better lives in the future.
How has healthcare changed during the Industrial Revolution?
Well, in the beginning, it was pretty bad with the pollution and such like, but later on in the Industrial Revolution, many new breakthroughs in medical science happened, like the invention of the vaccine, sanitation, and the such like, and we also Louis Pasteur found out about germs and how they work and such like. So he was using this knowledge, they were able to make more cures based on it. Yes.
Okay. How did agriculture increase during the Industrial Revolution?
Well, thanks to again new inventions, such like the seed drill, thanks to more use of iron plows, and also new methods like selective breeding or the Enclosure Act, which allowed for bigger farms. This allowed for a humongous increase in agriculture, which while before there was barely any innovation in agriculture, but now this humongous increase allowed for large populations to not have to work on the farm, but instead like go to the cities and increase production in factories.
No further questions.
We don't have your witness statement.
I don't have one either. Witness.
This is just a question.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't give anybody a witness statement. Okay.
Answers to his questions. You can use all the steps if you want.
That's, I think, are you good? Yeah, they got like a question or two.
Okay, so the price of many goods is lower, but the cost of producing them is high. So that meant low wages for workers and low quality products. Do you believe that the lowest cost wasn't a good thing?
Well, like I said, the low cost was good because it allowed people who before weren't able to buy it now buy it. Like before, or let's say you had some type of fancy silverware or such like. Before, only the aristocrats could buy it, but now a growing number of middle class people could buy it because it was on a cheaper price.
At the cost of a low quality?
Well, low quality. Well, was it extreme? If it wasn't such an extremely low quality where it was unusable. It was a quality where the middle class could enjoy some of the fineries of what the aristocrats. The aristocrats still could buy expensive items, but now people with less money still could maybe sample what the rich and powerful could have at a cost that they could enjoy.
No.
All right, we'd like to call out Thomas Edison. Who are you and how did you impact the Industrial Revolution?
I'm Thomas Edison, and I impacted the Industrial Revolution in a way where it left not just a temporary impact, but also a long-term effect. I was the driving force behind innovations such as the electric light bulb, the world's first industrial research laboratory, and the phonograph.
How did your light bulbs affect factories in your time?
The electric light bulb brought networks of wires into homes and offices, making it relatively easy to add appliances and other machines.
How did your inventions, like the phonograph, help create a positive impact on people?
The phonograph revolutionized the art of music. Performances were recorded and people could listen to them at their leisure. It also made music and communication more public.
Despite your partial deafness, why didn't you give up on your dream of being part of such innovations?
I knew that in the end, it would not only help me, but also the society that I lived in. There were no backsides to creating easier and more sufficient lives for others. I took my deafness as an advantage because it helped me concentrate more, and it was never an obstacle of doing my work in it.
What is your perspective on the Industrial Revolution?
I believe that the Industrial Revolution brought positive impacts economically, socially, and politically. Apart from my innovations, there were so many other changes that helped create a better style of living. Starting with the standard of living growing higher as more goods were produced to women entering the workforce, showing equality in both genders, to aristocrats being replaced by capitalists as the leaders of governments.
Thank you. No further questions.
So in your witness statement, you say that factories no longer have to worry about hazardous atmospheres because you invented the light bulb. So were you not aware of the working conditions?
I was aware of the working conditions, but that has no part in what I had to do, which was make the light bulb.
Workers were forced to they were forced to work with dangerous glass, with moldy glass and metal, and that's not hazardous?
Like I said before, that had nothing to do with what I had to create, which is the electric light bulb.
Yeah, but that's involved in the production of making it.
So would you rather have people not have lights and work in those hazardous conditions and still have the light bulb?
She can't answer questions, but I think you're asking about the making of light bulbs, right? The actual act of making the light bulb, and that in and of itself being a dangerous. She's not talking about other factories. Does that make sense?
So like you're saying how it was like
Dangerous
to me?
She's asking about the dangers of making light bulbs.
For your
To the people that were
Making your invention.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so she's not talking about in general factories.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
okay. So ask the question again.
So were you not aware of the other working conditions that workers faced creating your invention?
Yes, I was aware of them, but like I said in my in the questions that I answered, that it brought a long-term effect. I don't think we would be sitting here like in our electric light bulb if it wasn't for me and my workers.
And then you also said that you focused on inventing a safe and inexpensive electric light, but the sun is free and fire creates light using renewable resources. So why did you
But the
feel the
sun
need to
can't
make
come
that?
into everything. Like I don't see windows here.
So her question is, aren't there other options of
Yeah,
getting?
but but you can't do more than the light bulb. Like the sun isn't gonna help you, or the fire isn't gonna help you every time. It's more like efficient to have light bulbs.
Okay, you're doing good, Shariah. I feel like every time she starts up, she's like, no further questions. You're doing good. You're doing awesome. Everybody's doing great. So keep it up. You are Henry Ford, everyone.
Okay, Henry Ford, who are you?
I work as an engineer for the Edison Illuminating Company. After becoming aware of my own potential, I put a start on my own company, the Ford Motor Company.
Okay, how did you influence the Industrial Revolution?
After many years, I was finally able to create the Model T automobile. It is seen as a revolutionary vehicle which puts society on its toes.
What was your life like before the Industrial Revolution?
I spent most of my days in a one-room school and doing family chores. When I turned 16, I left home for my first job in Detroit working as a mechanic.
Did the creation of the assembly line help anything other than the automobile industry?
The assembly line did indeed help the automobile industry, and it changed it forever. But its idea and invention took other forms of industry, changing not only the automobile production, but the industry as a whole.
Did your meager upbringing inspire you to do something revolutionary to change your life?
I was determined to become an engineer. Through hard work and perseverance, I was able to begin my own company, bringing about new revolutionary mass production methods, which changed more than just me.
No further questions.
So can you please elaborate on the assembly line?
Well, it was a larger production plans, the use of interchangeable parts, and the most important of my revelations were the moving assembly line.
How did your workers feel about this process?
Well, it was long, but it was worth it.
So the repetition and getting little breaks were no, I'm sorry. The repetition and the only 15-minute breaks where they weren't even allowed to talk, sit down, or even smile were necessary?
Well, they weren't not necessary. It's just I feel like they were more able to like focus on their job and like not worry about like